Hello there, everyone. Welcome to this podcast. You know who I am, E.T. Templar, alien crusader from beyond the heavens, here to entertain and destroy through the power of meme magic. So, in this podcast, we're talking about legality, especially in the United States. Some of you listeners may be from other places in the world, but here in the United States, here's some ground rules. There is two things. These laws vary from state to state, but there is two laws, one called the Castle Doctrine. And you can look this up yourself, but the Castle Doctrine states that you have the right to defend yourself and your property if someone's breaking in and seeking to do you harm. This also applies to being inside a motor vehicle. So if someone's breaking into your motor vehicle and you're inside, and you have the right to defend yourself and your property. There's also stand your ground law, which means if someone's being aggressive or threatening towards you, you can say, hey, I'm standing my ground and I will defend myself with lethal force. And if this person continues to aggress or be violent and you defend yourself, then that is legal self-defense. Now, within all these situations, there's a gray zone. So this story starts with a guy by the name of Byron. And this is a documentary that I'm kind of doing the spark notes off of from Explore With Us. So the link should be in the description down below or pinned in the comments if you want to watch this yourself. Later or after this podcast, or you can watch it now and then come back. But this guy had his house broken into multiple times. So where Byron breaks the law is he sets up a little bit of an entrapment. He lies in wait. Now, if you don't know, here in the States, murder goes by multiple degrees. There's first degree, second degree, and third degree. Third degree would be like manslaughter or like negligent homicide. Second degree would be more like if you didn't intend to kill someone, or if it was an accident, or if you killed someone in a fist fight. But first degree is lying in wait. So Byron here parks his car at a friend's house, and he unscrews the light bulbs in his house to make it appear as if no one's home. So he proceeds down into the basement where he puts his lounge chair in between two bookshelves. So he's shrouded in darkness. This guy has essentially set a trap and has a plan to murder someone because he's lying in wait. With him in his chair is a Mini 14, a 223 556. And then the next part of the story, unfortunately, these two kids chose the wrong fucking house. Now, Byron here is already in the wrong. He's already doing something illegal. But these two kids, for this battle of the dice, decide to break into homes before Thanksgiving or during Thanksgiving because they know people aren't home, right? So they want to burglarize some shit. They want to steal some shit because maybe they have shitty parents, or maybe because they're just stupid young kids doing stupid things, young and dumb. One breaks into the house, crawls his way inside, goes through the hallway, down the stairs where he's met with two shots from the Mini 14 to the chest. He falls down the stairs, and then Byron puts a third through the kid's hand into his head because the kid put his hand up to, shield himself from being shot in the face. Then the second one comes in, she gets shot twice, the Mini 14 jams, and then he executes her later. But here's where Explore With Us kind of pulled an anti-gun, jab. And here's some I'm a big gun person. The 556, the 223, the bullet velocity of that round is about 3,000 feet per second. If these kids were hit by this round at even 300 yards out, 100 to 300 yards, or even 400 yards, that's lethal. So the fact that they were inside less than 25 feet away from where this thing went off, every shot's going to be lethal. But Explore With Us says, oh, these two shots would have been over lethal. So, like the Rittenhouse case, they tried not explore with us, but they tried to say that, oh, because the 223 is such a high powered round, that it's somehow more haram. It wouldn't matter if he had a shotgun, a handgun, any, if you're shooting someone less than 25, 10, 15 feet away, it's going to be lethal. You're fucked. Unless if you have body armor, but even that's not going to save your ass. So Explore with us kind of did an anti-gun thing there. And I was like, okay, that's not necessary. We already know this Byron guy is already entrapment. And this guy had mental problems. He worked with the state. Uh, and that indicates to me that he's a glow in the dark and kind of a psychopath to begin with. So yeah, the case for him as far as self-defense goes flies right out the window because he's already lying in wait and he's already set a trap. And there was no effort on his part to call 911. He literally took the bodies, dragged them around his house to outside, and his story is he said he didn't want to bother the cops on Thanksgiving Day, which if you defend yourself, let's say someone breaks in, you defend yourself, and you had to shoot one or two people dead, you still have to call 911 and be like, hey, these two people broke into my house. My family was threatened. I didn't know who these guys were. Now they're dead, or they might be. Send an ambulance. So this guy was clearly had a cold, calculated murder scheme that he's going to try and skate off of based on self-defense in air quotes. But the weird thing about this is he recorded everything. And this guy was talking to himself before, during, and after he murdered these two burglars, these two kids. So clearly there was something already wrong. Something was already off with this fucking guy. And that's also what contributed to his downfall in the court case, because he's even on the recordings rehearsing his story. So this guy's a total nutter, and of course, Explore with us tried to call him some people see him as a hero as a Second Amendment. It's like, what the fuck? No, because people of the Second Amendment aren't for premeditated murder via entrapment. There's good shoots and there's bad shoots. Okay, there's justified shootings, there's not justified shootings. So the way how Explore with us kind of fucked with that topic and opinion to me, I was like, wow, okay. I had to roll my eyes because, and then they tried to, and of course it's tragic. These two kids, they just, it was bad luck. They picked the wrong fucking house. The roll of the dice was not in their favor. They rolled snake eyes that night. And they, at the end of this true crime, although it was tragic, they tried to make it out as if these were just kids. And while though it's true, and they were just young, dumb kids who just got incredibly fucking unlucky, this fact still remains. If you break into someone's house, if you cross, I don't know why I said cross, but if you cross that threshold of invading someone's private space, you better be prepared to fucking die. And this is the case in the United States. This is why, if you're visiting people in the United States, you respect their homes. You don't go kicking in the door, breaking windows, and breaking into people's places. Especially if you're, nowhere, anywhere, the United States, below the Mason-Dixon line, or in the areas where there's Appalachia, Kentucky, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, that you do have to know that there are people who are willing to defend themselves, their families, and their property with lethal force. So the moral of the story is, don't fucking break into people's houses, because if you do, it could be a Byron fucking waiting there to just ghost your ass at the slightest pretext. And even if it's not a Byron, the homeowner does not know the intent of someone breaking in. They do not know the intent of the person. They can't read minds. The only thing they know is that there's a threat, unwelcome, inside their fucking house, and they're going to deal with it with lethal and just force. So, yes, it's shitty that happened to these two kids, but if these two kids were brought up better, if these two kids wouldn't have just not been out that night looking to burglarize homes, they would still be alive. It's terrible. They just got incredibly fucking unlucky, and such as life is sometimes. And Byron was just a sick bastard, waiting there in the shadows of his chair with a Mini 14, and boy, did those kids pick the wrong fucking house. And yeah, Explore With Us sure has some good content as far as true crime stuff is concerned, but this one was a little bit bullshit in how they tried to pin this as like a true Second Amendment thing. Most gun owners and Second Amendment people aren't for fucking murdering people in cold blood. Shocker, I know. But yeah. Oh yeah, here's some of the comments on this video. Maybe you guys can... what do these burglars expect? A feast? Even a 5-year-old knows not to steal, and they've been doing that repeatedly to an old man. So, they might have even... It's been alleged that they burglarized his house multiple times, and even stole his guns. And in Byron's defense, he said he didn't know if they had guns, or if they were going to use his stolen guns against him. So... Everyone has the right to self-defense, but you do not have the right to entrapment and fucking laying in wait murder one. Okay? So there's castle doctrine, there's stand your ground, and there's just the fact that if you're home invading someone, burglarizing houses, you better be prepared to meet Jesus, because you will more than likely meet him, and not in a nice way. So hopefully this was an interesting podcast. And again, the video I'm referencing, the story I'm referencing is linked in the description and pinned in the comments down below. If you want to watch, this yourself, it's about 19 minutes. It's pretty interesting. And yeah, in closing, there's no difference what someone chooses to defend their house with. Whether it's a 223, 7.62 by 39, an AK-47, AR-15, shotgun. Someone can even defend their house with a fucking cannon, hand cannon, a .50 caliber, pistol, if they so wish. A shotgun. When it comes to self-defense, there's not really overkill. There's a such thing as underkill. But there's such thing as overkill and overpenetration, which that's a story for later, a topic for later. But yeah, don't burglarize people's homes. Don't home invade, especially here stateside, because you will more than likely, again, be meeting Jesus personally. And yeah, everyone has the right to defend their possessions, their life, their livelihood, and families. End of story. So, yeah, anyways... see you next time. Hopefully you found this interesting. Take it easy. God bless. Stay happy. Stay healthy. And as always, who really knows what the future has in store? So I would give this humble advice before I stop this podcast. Prep up on food, silver, gold if possible. Invest in food stuff, guns and ammo, because we truly do not know what the future has in store. We don't know what's around the corner. And it is my humble opinion that if you live in a country or in a state where you can own a firearm, you should own one to defend yourself, your families, your property, your country, and or your family and loved ones. But however, if you're in a shitty country like fucking Canada or these other like socialist hellholes where you can't own one, well, that fucking sucks. Godspeed, good luck. That fucking sucks. But anyways, take it easy.